Moses, Moses,
Lord, here am I.
do you remember the first time I ever called you that?
Oh, how could I forget? It
You
was
were
at the
so-
burning bush.
You were so scared back then.
Well, that's an understatement. I was petrified, especially when you told me what you wanted me to do. Go to Pharaoh to bring my people, the Israelites, out of Egypt.
I don't think I sounded quite like that.
Well, you might as well have. It was about the scariest thing I ever heard.
You came up with just about every excuse in the book why I should be sending someone other than you. Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh? What if the people don't believe me? I'm not a good speaker. I broke my nose.
I don't remember that last one. But all those other excuses, well, it wasn't like I was making them up. They were all true.
Sure, but they were all things that I and your brother Aaron could help you overcome.
I just wasn't prepared, Lord.
Of course you weren't. There wasn't anyone that could have been prepared for that task. If I limited myself to calling on people who were already prepared, there would be few, if any, people to choose from. I don't call on the prepared, but I do prepare those who say yes to my call.
I didn't get that back then, Lord, but I can see it now in hindsight. And I'm grateful. Plus, that whole turning a staff into a snake thing, that was kind of cool. I would freak my sister Miriam out with that all the time. Snake! Ah! Stick!
That was a little on the cruel side, Moses. But I cut you some slack. That whole woman-hating snake thing goes way back.
It does. Hey, Lord, speaking of things a little on the cruel side, and as long as you and I are reminiscing about the whole deliverance from Egypt, there's something I've been wanting to ask you for a while.
Yes?
It's about the plagues. I get how Pharaoh deserved them, hard-hearted as he was, and those Egyptian taskmasters, as harsh as they were, and even the Egyptian people in their complicity, but I never understood how or why, while your people, while we never bore the full brunt of the plagues, we did suffer from them, and especially from the Egyptian backlash to them. It was awful, Lord. If we still are, really your people, why couldn't there have been a different way?
Being in covenant, even with me, is no guarantee. It provides no exemption from pain or sacrifice. I'm not sure where people got the idea that I'm omnipotent in that way. Sure, I created the world, and it is good and a beautiful place, and it gives me great joy. But it also has caused a great deal of heartache and pain. How do people keep refusing to hear the voice of my spirit in them? Why do people enslave and harm and kill one another? Do they really need it written down when I've already written it in their hearts? Believe me, Moses, I wish there were an easier way.
Well, evidently we did need it written down, Lord, or you never would have called me up to Mount Sinai when you did to receive the law.
Right. It seems absurd to me that not killing, lying, or stealing needed to be spelled out for you. But I'd hope that laying it all out as a written covenant might keep it in front of you at all times and not allow you to bury it in your hearts and conveniently ignore it.
It was hard to ignore, not only because it was written out on those big stone tablets, but because we had to carry those tablets around with us everywhere we went in the Ark of the Covenant. When the covenant wasn't weighing on our consciences, it was weighing on our shoulders.
But it was never my intention for the covenant, for the law, to be a burden. It was always meant to be a gift, a foundational mission statement of sorts, in your modern vernacular anyway, around which to form community. It only became a heavy lift when people forgot to bend their knees in prayer and submission to carry it.
Ah, I see what you did there, Lord, with the knee-bending reference. Bend the knees in submission, bend your knees to do heavy lifting. That's pretty clever.
Well, I'm God after all. Who do you think created the capacity for language?
I've heard that somewhere before. So let me ask you one last thing, Lord. If we follow these laws and we're your people and you're our God and all that good covenant stuff, will everything really go well for us?
I know that's the impression that many people get from the covenant. They hope to control their futures and their well-being by perfect obedience. And to be fair, there is a fair amount of control people have in determining their own futures. I built it that way. A lot of time, you do reap what you sow. Doing good things has good consequences, and doing bad things has bad consequences.
But
the covenant is not a guarantee that everything will go well or turn out fine in the world. There will still be pain. There will still be sacrifice. The rewards of the covenant are in the inherent joy of doing the right thing my spirit is always bearing witness to in your heart. And in the promise of my abiding presence with you always, no matter what.
no matter what?
No matter what. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
That is a great comfort.
And I love all the rest of the world's people too, and there's nothing you can do about that either.
That is a great challenge. Wait a minute, Lord. Even the Hittites.
Even the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Jebusites, and all the other ites.
But they're not part of the covenant. They don't have the law or the promise or the land.
But they are part of the covenant, at least in a way through you. For while you are my treasured possession, you are also called to be a priestly kingdom and a holy nation, blessing those other nations and bringing their people closer to me.
I don't think I ever fully understood that priestly kingdom or holy nation part until just now. That's kind of mind-blowing.
Is it giving you a headache, Moses?
A headache, Lord?
If it is, I'll give you the same advice I gave you on Mount Sinai. Take these 2 tablets and call me in the morning.
Oh, Lord.